Minneapolis FC Cincinnati. Scored 28 goals in 96 appearances for the Eddies over 4 seasons. Already has a goal in his return with a goal against the Cosmos.
Edmonton is led by their head coach, Colin Miller, who has had some time with the Canadian national team, playing, captaining the team, participated, didn't actually play, though, in the 1986 World Cup for the Canadians.
Indeed.
And now we'll head over to the San Francisco starting lineup, as we're going to see the same lineup as we saw last match. Once again in goal, Romuald Pecer. On defense, Carl Ouimet. And central defense, Patrick Hopkins, Heinar Ferreira. And then Jackson in the midfield with Michael Stevens, Tyler Gibson, as well as Greg Jordan and Maxime Tissot. And up front, the two forwards, Dagoberto and Tommy Heineman. And certainly interesting to see this lineup the same as last week.
It is. It's the first time this season, Jason, that Coach Mark Dos Santos has gone with the same lineup in back-to-back matches. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I fear. As Jordan played well last week, Mikey Stevens had a good game. Dagoberto, of course, was influential as we take a look at the 2015 NASL Manager of the Year, and in a good mood, a white shirt this time. And he'll be expecting to make it 4 wins out of 4 here this afternoon, Jason.
Yeah, and for the officiating crew tonight, referee Alex Chilowitz, and the assistants Andrew Hanks, Brandon Chapman, and the fourth official Alex Marquand Wilsey. And Stephen, certainly we talked about this last week. It's almost a must-win situation for the Deltas. They are in a good position as you look at Colin Miller, the FC Edmonton head coach, with plenty of playing and coaching experience for Canada. And you got to pick up the wins at home. They've been able to stay in their own beds for the past week, which is a rare thing for this team.
It is indeed, Jason. And as far as perhaps keys to the game are concerned, familiarity, I think, is one of them. You have the same lineup now starting in back-to-back matches, and the same back three have played together since the opening game of the fall campaign against Jacksonville. So this is a team, Jason, I feel is very familiar with each other, especially defensively, as they've had to adapt for the loss of Christian Portier in the match against Jacksonville. Up front, we'd like to see a little bit better finishing this time, and who knows, maybe this will be the day, Jason, that Dagoberto finally gets on the scorer's sheet.
He certainly had his opportunities last week against North Carolina, elected to pass it over to Tommy Heineman on that 2-on-0 break, a little bit past Heineman, and we are underway here at Kezar Stadium as Tommy Heineman kicks things off for San Francisco. As you may notice, there's now some local football action, and I don't mean the 49ers starting to play here at Kezar, so you will see the 5- and 10-yard lines on the pitch. We'll see if that really affects anybody's play out there. There are no numbers, so we can't say as they go to the 25, the 20, the 15, but the lines are out there to figure out the 5-yard demarcation lines.
It is an old-school gridiron here, that's for sure.
Up front, as it's the Deltas on the attack, and that shot taken by Dagoberto as he's looking to get on the score sheet. An early save there for Tyson Farrago, who's been splitting goalkeeping time with Nathan Ingham since Konopka really was taken out of the lineup early goings for FC Edmonton. But Tyson Farrago's kind of taken the reins recently. He leads the team with his 1.09 goals against average in 6 games played, 1 win, 2 draws, and 2 losses out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. 6'2", 201 pounds, and Farrago right now is the mainstay for head coach Colin Miller.
He's certainly done well enough, Jason, in this fall campaign since taking over for Ingham, who suffered a concussion towards the end of the spring season. He's done well enough to maintain his position. And just going back to that Dagoberto shot very quickly, when I talked to Dos Santos during the week, he said that Dagoberto was going to be more hungry for goal this time and perhaps won't lay it off as much as he did versus North Carolina. So expect Dagoberto, if the option arises, to take a chance on goal.
Miller with his second touch of the match, and one thing we probably can expect is the Delta is getting a number of shots on goal in the first 3 matches against Edmonton. They have outshot, and I mean shots on target, Edmonton 18-6, which is absolutely astounding of a difference. Yet, the scorelines have all been 1-0.
As we've said, both teams have had plenty of opportunities. But the Deltas have ever so slightly better in converting them.
Gibson finds Heineman. As you'll notice, the yellow lines are what are the ends of the sidelines. Ball over to Jackson in the corner. Defended nicely, and FC Edmonton will clear. Since the soccer pitch is a little bit wider than your American football pitch, you'll notice the white lines on the sideline are for the American football, and the yellow lines are for the soccer pitch. So keep an eye on the yellow lines, not on the white lines. As Ferreira is defended nicely and effectively by Ben McKendry, who's on low from the Vancouver Whitecaps.
One player FC Edmonton will be missing today is Albert Watson, the Northern Irish defender, has made 17 starts but did not travel with the team due to an injury. So you have Ledgerwood, Fordyce, and Watson. You would expect starters for this FC Edmonton team either not here or not available to play due to injury.
And as we mentioned at the top of the program, right now FC Edmonton is, well, they're technically tied with Puerto Rico for last place in the combined standings, but due to goal differential, they are in fact last place. So they're really banking on trying to win the fall season.
Ferreira took a hard tumble into the bench as he tried to head that ball out of play, and his knee hit into one of those seats down there on the sideline for the players on the bench. He appears to be okay, but that was a hard tumble into the bench there on the sideline.
As Ferreira seems none the worse for wear. Throw in for FC Edmonton.
Just got to look at the Eddies on Tour supporters that have made the trip down here to San Francisco. We welcome them to Kezar, and so we wish we could buy them a drink or two, but we'll have to wait till we go to Kezar Pub after this, Jason.
Yeah, and hopefully there aren't any 19 or 20-year-olds that realize they are not allowed to drink here in this country, but they can drink up in Alberta. Actually, in Alberta, the drinking age is 18. They alternate there, depending as they go west to east. British Columbia 19, Edmonton or Alberta 18, and then so on and so forth. So, as a tough tackle there, and will the referee break out a card?
Well, he has.
With Dagoberto going down hard, a high kick coming, and we are going to see a yellow card going to Karsten Smith.
Well, Ledesma was sent off for the Cosmos earlier in the season in that game against Miami for a high boot to the chest, and then Hunter Freeman was sent off for the same thing in the same match. So Smith, I think, is very lucky that he's not going off already, because that's a high foot with the studs right in the chest. That's a red card. Sorry, I mean, they call that in the Premier League, and I mean, it's unlucky, but Ledesma was sent off for less contact than that. So it's a free kick, and this is a dangerous situation, as we know. Dagoberto's going to take it.
Long-range shot. He decided to go low and hard, blocked by the wall, headed up by Patrick Hopkins, and Colin Miller will finally get to it as the Deltas unable to take advantage of this first dangerous set piece. And you thought Dagoberto might curl in. I think everybody was thinking that, and that's why he decided to go low and hard, but unable to get it past the wall. That would have been a tough call by referee Alex Chilowitz, call a red card in the first sixth minute of the match. You know, Colin Miller certainly wouldn't have been happy with that.
Yeah, but it's consistency, though, isn't it?
Deltas can't connect. It will be a throw-in for FC Edmonton. Edmonton currently tied for 5th with the Cosmos, 1 point back of the Deltas and North Carolina coming into today's match. North Carolina and Miami, Puerto Rico have all played an extra game along with Jacksonville. So Deltas they can pick up the win today, have a chance to, well, they won't be first. They can't be first because Puerto Rico, Miami, 3 points ahead of them. Both have 9 points, 3 points more than the Deltas. Even if the Deltas win, either Miami or Puerto Rico or both, if they draw, will get 10 points or more. So the Deltas really just trying to keep up with those teams and also maintain their spot in the combined standings, as they are currently in second place with 32 points, 3 points ahead of the New York Cosmos, who are currently on the road in North Carolina.
Miami are in the lead in Puerto Rico. Chavez has given them the lead after 34 minutes.
And Miami's already secured themselves a home playoff match in the 4-team playoff since they won the Spring League. But if they can win the Fall League, then they'd have home field advantage through the entire playoffs. Dagoberto with some space on the left side, and they're calling an offside on Maxime Tissot, and he is up in arms with the referee.
No, they called Dagoberto offside because he was trying to get back behind Tissot because he wanted to play the ball forward. And, well, very close indeed, but Dagoberto not pleased with the call.
Here's a look at the Delta Force. Offside called on FC Edmonton on the other way, so not too much flow in the early on.
Now, the Delta's been slightly better in possessions so far, but neither team looks particularly comfortable on the ball.
Be cleared up by Romuald Peser as Heineman gets underneath Diakite, and Heineman's gone down hard. Foul is called on Heineman, though.
Well, backing into him, but Diakite went up and over the top.
I feel like they generally give that to the man.
And Heineman is still on the ground protesting his case there with our referee. And
but it's the free kick given to FC Edmonton, and Heineman seems to be fine, though it looks like he may have gotten kneed or kind of leg into his back. Tough to call that foul on Tommy Heineman, but Edmonton will work it up the left side. Amiobi, but it goes too far and will be out for a goal kick for Romuald Peser, who last week did not have to deal with any sun. It was completely overcast. Now, though, the game's a little bit earlier when he had those sun issues early in the season. The sun is setting. The question is, it might be better that he's there now as opposed to for the second half.
I think so.
When Tyson Farrago might have some issues. And there's another attempt going over, and this time they finally gave it to the defender going over top of Tommy Heineman, and it looked like an equally similar play, and this time it went the other way.
I can't tell you the difference. Heineman is backing up to try and trap the ball, chest it down, or head it. The defender goes up and over him. I mean, the movement is the exact same as Diakite going up and over him, but this time the Edmonton player maybe a bit more forceful, but Heineman on the end of two hefty collisions here in the space of 2.5 minutes, and training staff's going to run out and tend to him.
So Heineman now in back-to-back plays has, in essence, been kneed in the back. The first time he got up seemed to be okay. And it looked like it was Karsten Smith out of Huntington, New York, giving it to Tommy Heineman. And Smith right now is talking to the referee. I doubt he'll give him a card, but this is probably a warning of you can't be that aggressive with a guy.
Well, he's already been booked, don't forget.
Oh, that's true.
Anything else out of him today, and he's
got 1.5 yellow cards, you could say.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And so it will be a free kick for San Francisco. Karsten Smith is a big man out there, 6 foot 3 inches tall, sporting the ponytail, and Deltas are slowly taking this free kick past midfield.
Heinemann's over on the touchline there on the far side.
Ouimet tries to find Jackson, and foul is called against Jackson, so it will be a free kick for Edmonton. Kind of a slow start to this match, just 12 minutes in, but really very little flow, which often you would say goes to the advantage of the away team, and Edmonton certainly has given up their fair share of shots against the Deltas, so maybe they're not too upset that this has been a tight defensive battle to begin.
A very disjointed affair so far, to say the least. And any potential FC Edmonton attacking opportunities have fizzled out.
Farragut's had to make one or two saves. Romuald Pacers had a couple of touches, but as we mentioned, the Deltas have only allowed, so Pacers only had to make 6 saves in his first 3 matches against FC Edmonton. Ouimet tries to lob it up to Michael Stevens. Jackson from Franca, Brazil. Defended nicely by Pedro Galvão. Born in Waterbury, Connecticut, but has Portuguese citizenship. And FC Edmonton, though, on the attack. Correa. The El Salvadorian tries to chip it up and headed away nicely by Ouimet. Deltas regain control. Now they have a rush. Dagoberto with Heinemann. Dagoberto cuts by 1, knocks a man down. That was a light push. I don't know if I would have blown that one, but Dagoberto doesn't seem to be complaining at all.
Well, Correa just caught up to him very, very quickly indeed, so much so that Dagoberto really had no option than to try and cut him off because he knew he wasn't going to get back to the ball on the dribble there. And Dagoberto's top speed, perhaps not what it once was during his glory days in Brazil. Still a very influential player with the ball at his feet.
McKendry, give and go with Correa. McKendry's shot blocked. And now the Deltas with an opportunity.
Great tackle by Ouimet there to stop that attack from FC Edmonton.
Stevens gets some help, and now the Deltas with a chance up the right side.
Good football by the Deltas.
Jackson tries the give and go. Cross into the box, and racing after Dagoberto, whistle blown, as they say it did, in fact, go out behind. First Espetus, the first authentic Brazilian steakhouse in the Bay Area, as they are proud sponsor of the San Francisco Deltas. We've been talking about it. We need to go there. It's delicious.
Can't wait.
It's really not that far away. It's about a mile away on Market Street. We can go there after the game. Although some people may want to watch the that little fight that's going on later tonight.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
FC Edmonton unbeaten in their last 3. Deltas unbeaten so far in this fall season. Stevens with a steal at midfield.
Very inspired so far as Stevens. Couple of good runs, couple of good sliding challenges as well.
Gibson escapes a tackle. Jackson cuts to the middle, tries to give it back. Stevens, right foot. He just went over, and it looked like he hit the field goal post as he chipped it over the goal. And a good give and go there between Stevens and Jackson.
We said Stevens is being lively, and that would have been bookends there as if he would have finished that off for the goal. Lovely interchange between him and Jackson. Does the right thing, goes for goal. It comes off the underside of the football crossbar, but definitely the best Deltas attacking opportunity of the match.
Goal kick, though, for Tyson Farragut. Goes all the way out for a goal kick, and yeah, they will indicate that despite the play there between Jackson and Jake Keegan, product of State University of New York, Binghamton.
One play we didn't have a chance to talk about yet, Ben McKendry. on loan from Vancouver Whitecaps, made his MLS debut against San Jose earlier this season.
Stevens picks up nice back heel, but he cannot quite find Dagoberto. The follow-up, though, Gibson helps out, as well as Jordan, and the Deltas will regain possession. Stevens with a cross, one-timer by Dagoberto, fans on it, follow-up to Tissot. Tissot, Heineman back to Tissot, tried to give it to Dagoberto, and I think he was caught flat-footed, leaning the wrong way, but a good look to Dagoberto, who may have been walking in all alone on Farrago.
A bit like last week, perhaps the forwards and the midfielders not quite on the same page as Tissot with a nice through ball, a little too much weight on it, but the Deltas are certainly starting to produce opportunities in this match.
That was some good interplay in close in the offensive third there for San Francisco, and we will have our first corner kick of the match to FC Edmonton. Corners are 15-13 in favor of the Deltas through the first three matches, so fairly even, and this may be the best opportunity, one of the better opportunities Edmonton has in the entire match to create some offensive chances.
They got some big bodies up there. Amiobi is 6'3", Diakite is 6'4", so the Deltas will have their hands full on corner kicks in the match.
Goes far post, and that was a poor corner kick taken. And for the Deltas, didn't have to do any work whatsoever to defend that corner. And Romuald Peseira will gladly take this goal kick. Jason Lockhart alongside Stephen Davies as we take a look at Mark Dos Santos, another hashtag Kezar Nights.
How about the weather today?
It's absolutely gorgeous. We've got a heat front, quote, coming in. It's going to be in the low to mid, even the high 70s for the next week in San Francisco. Summer is finally coming to San Francisco. You should come out to a Deltas game.
I worked with a guy out here. He said when the weather is nice in San Francisco, it's the greatest weather in the world. When it's like this, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been everywhere in the world, but it is very nice. It still drops a little cool at night, but Tissot works his way up the left side of the pitch. But right now it is
spectacular.
71 and sunny. I don't see a single cloud in the sky. If you're listening and you're nearby, you can probably still get tickets right now to this game. Come stop in at Kezar.
Oh, wow.
Edmonton on the move. Correa.
That was Ben Fisk there with the touch prior to that, with the dribble across midfield.
McKendry. Nikla into the box. Headed away by the Delta's defense, and Jackson perhaps will look for the long ball up for Dagoberto. But McKendry the other way. Delta's defending well, as they really have not made Romuald Peseira have to do any tough work at all, as Dagoberto and Heineman can't quite hook up in the offensive half.
We talked about it earlier, familiarity, Jason. That back three now solidified in their positions. They know their roles. They have Jackson and Tissot to drop back to help out if need be, as with Jordan. And Coach Dos Santos' team is always well organized, and it's on display here so far tonight, as it's been also against the game against North Carolina last week.
Yeah, Deltas have given up just 3 goals in the first 4 matches of this young fall season. Stevens for Jackson. And the Deltas will just regroup back in their own half. Deltas certainly want to look to Tommy Heineman, as we mentioned him in the pregame. 7th in the league in shots this season with 35. And he certainly will take his shots throughout the match. The Deltas get a deep throw-in. And can that connection between Dagoberto and Tommy Heineman link up, as it seems like it's right there for the taking. Yeah. The talent is there. But of course, Dagoberto coming to the team late in the season. They haven't quite clicked completely. Long throw-in does not amount to anything for San Francisco.
But you're right, the signs are there. It's surely just a matter of time now before those two combine for a goal-scoring effort. And they came desperately close against North Carolina last week on a couple of occasions.
Jordan with a hard tackle, and that's going to earn himself a yellow card.
A little late there on that slide challenge. Takes down Ben McKendry right in front of the referee, and Jordan can have no complaints with that call.
So now Carson Smith for Edmonton and Greg Jordan, the Naperville, Illinois native, with the yellow card for San Francisco. As Tommy Heineman pressuring Farrago. Deltas on the move. Jackson, 2 players on him, and he'll earn himself the free kick at midfield.
Jackson's just looked like a different player since the beginning of the fall season. And although he was very competent indeed playing the right back role, he has flourished now as a right side midfielder. His runs are going to be instrumental to the Delta's success the rest of the season. Dagoberto squirts away.
Dagoberto finds Heineman. Stevens, now the follow-up to Jackson. Jackson chips it back into the box. Jordan, header, stopped there by Farrago. What a great opportunity for San Francisco as the passes really clicked there, and Greg Jordan almost put it by Tyson Farrago.
But that's a great save from Tyson Farrago as well. An excellent header, turns it brilliantly, does Jordan, and that's a fingertip save. Excellent from the FC Edmonton goalkeeper. What a piece of build-up play there from the Deltas.
Dagoberto will take the first corner kick of the match for San Francisco. They'll swing it outward. It's right in the box, and that was Ouimet who got his head on it, but didn't quite get it down enough. But Dagoberto certainly put it in a good spot for the Deltas, and they had the numbers there.
They did indeed. They had space to work with that to the right side. They knew that Jackson could deliver the sort of quality cross needed, and he did that admirably. And Jordan's header is one of the better saves you'll see away from being 1-0 Deltas.
So we'll see if that comes back to haunt the Deltas, who have certainly had the better opportunities so far in the first half of this opening half. Edmonton really has not threatened at all, minus perhaps the one corner kick, as Jackson cannot break through the midfield. Fisk taken away from him by Gibson, the Knoxville, Tennessee native.
Tennessee country boy.
Tissot cannot find Heineman. He'll work it up the left side. Jordan, who just had that spectacular opportunity on the header. And the Deltas earn themselves a throw-in. Look at Ben McKendry, the Vancouver native. As Heineman tries to switch fields, he's got Jackson open. Defended by Galval. Jackson going to the goal line, chips it into the box, but a clear there by Diakite as he came in second in the NASL with 99 clears, and there was his 100th for Diakite, who certainly uses his big 6'4" frame to clear all sorts of balls coming into the box.
And that cross would have been a little higher there for, that's headed wide, but that cross would have been, needs to be a little bit higher if it was going to find Dagoberto, who was unmarked inside the 6-yard box. It's always going to be a tough task to be able to lob one over Diakite. Delta forcing good voice tonight, as they actually have some traveling support to compete against with the Eddies on tour here, and they're making their voices heard down here on the near side of the pitch.
Well, Edmonton is the Delta's closest rival.
They are indeed.
At least this year. Next year, not so much. They're anticipated 2 additional California teams, in the NASL, which it's positives all around, much easier to travel to, and they might even be able to bus down to Southern California, and certainly the supporters can head there much easier than flying to Edmonton and all across the East Coast. So certainly looking forward to those rivalries starting to bud in the 2018 NASL season. But we are, of course, here in the first season here with Penn McKendry now with the opportunity for Edmonton as he switches fields. Chipped into the box, and it will go by everybody. And it will be a corner kick for Edmonton as Tomi Amiobi had an opportunity there, but at least earned himself a corner kick for FC Edmonton, their second of the match.
Got to capitalize on this set piece now. The opportunities over the first 28 minutes of the match have been few and far between.
Corner from the near side. Goes back post. Still a free header, and it will go out.
Should be a corner
for
for
another
Edmonton.
Corner kick.
Yeah, it came off Jordan.
And Dustin Correa will not take this. It will be Ben Fisk sending it in, as he is second in the NASL this season with his 132 crosses. Not sure if the corner kick counts as a cross. It's a low one, and Heineman able to chest that one away before it got to goal. Fisk tries the follow-up. Jordan gets some help, and finally will ricochet over to Ouimet, who's got to clear that away from Amiobi, and Edmonton right now putting a little pressure on the San Francisco back line.
They had two deflections very much go their way, and Ouimet had to be alert because Amiobi had to step on him. He was able to clear that one away, but the danger not totally dealt with as of yet.
So San Francisco getting their wigs on at the match as the Fisk's shot was blocked and cleared away by the Deltas, and FC Edmonton right now putting the heat on, but the Deltas defense coming up tough and didn't really barely said Romuald Peser's name at all, as he has not had to make any saves throughout this pressure by FC Edmonton. Jordan with a block for San Francisco. As FC Edmonton works it up the right side touchline.
Oh.
And the Deltas will not be able to clear. FC Edmonton continuing to put the heat on. And the Deltas finally, with some time and space, and they'll have some room on this counter. Jackson for Heineman. Dagoberto going to goal. Tissot into the box. Goes back post. And Jackson can't take the touch. They're calling for a penalty. And the referee says play on, and now FC Edmonton going the other way. Amiobi with an opportunity. Amiobi going wide. Shot, score! FC Edmonton makes it a 1-0 Edmonton lead.
And you had a feeling, Jason, when the Deltas committed so many players forward, that quick turnaround, and FC Edmonton make them pay as Amiobi finishes strongly into the corner of the net, and the visitors from Edmonton have taken the lead. The Eddies on tour fans go nuts, and against the run of play, it's a 0-0 FC Edmonton lead.
Amiobi with his team-leading 6th goal of the season.
And Hopkins just gets out-muscled there by Amiobi. The rest of the Deltas players were slow to provide reinforcements, and you can't give a guy like Amiobi that much space to work with. A powerful forward who out-muscles the center back and finishes confidently to give FC Edmonton the lead.
Tomi Amiobi as Dagoberto with a follow-up, and that was blocked there by Smith before it bounced in on Farrago. Tomi Amiobi from Newcastle under Tyne, which is where the Premier League team Newcastle United plays, as Edmonton on the attack once again into the box, and Hopkins with a block there, and it will go out for another corner as FC Edmonton trying to add to their 1-0 lead.
And they sense perhaps now that a gap or a chink in the Deltas' armor right now because they have the Deltas on the back foot. Despite the way the Deltas are attacking, defensively all of a sudden they look a little nervy out there.
Amiobi with the goal with Newcastle United and Leeds Youth Academy. Off this corner, goes by everybody, and it will be a... Tough to see what the referee is calling there. I think another corner, but...
Certainly seemed to pay Zagat the last touch. He's joined with Diakite here.
Correa will take this corner from the near side. Back-to-back corners for Edmonton, and they lead 1-0 on the road. Correa left-footed. It's a low one, and Heineman will easily head that one away. Galvao finds Correa, works his way by Heineman, and then Correa gets the ball blasted back into his midsection, and the Deltas unable to move as the Deltas, all of a sudden, they are having trouble getting the ball out of their end. They had some of the momentum early on with more of the chances, but FC Edmonton is now taking it to the home team. McKendry. Niklaw. And Jackson will get to this one. It will go out for a throw-in. Alan Zebi earning that throw-in. Originally from Paris, moved to Canada. And the Deltas trying to just weather this storm. And it'll be another corner kick for Edmonton. That's 4 or 5 now on the match, as the Deltas look like they're scrambling right now. It will be Fisk taking this corner. Curled in. Good header by Gibson to clear that one. And the Deltas will get it past midfield for the first time in what seems like ages.
It does. You're right. Good 4 or 5 minute spell of possession there from Edmonton since the goal. They've really had the Deltas on the back foot. Good trap by Dagoberto.
Gets it to Jordan, who's had the best opportunity for the Deltas. His header stopped by Farrago. Ferreira, man on him, gets taken down. He'll earn himself the foul.
Well, since Jordan got the yellow card, he has not been able to be so hard into a challenge perhaps as he would like, because he doesn't want to take the risk of getting a second yellow card. And that then in turn puts more responsibility on Gibson and Stevens to help mop up the tackling in midfield.
Dagoberto will take this. San Francisco Deltas presented by Espetus, the first authentic Brazilian steakhouse in the Bay Area. Into the box, headed Heineman just wide. As inches away from squeaking in that near post. But it remains 1-0 Edmonton.
Tommy Heineman's got to be wondering right now, what does he need to do to get a goal? Great header, flicks it on. Gets ahead of Carson Smith. The ball wide of the post. And Farrago sliding to his right. I think would have had that covered.
Once again, Dagoberto with a good set piece. Had that early one that didn't quite work with the low blast, but since then the corner, and now this one, giving his forwards and other players up an opportunity to at least get their head on it. And so Dagoberto playing setup man. 1 assist so far in the season for Dagoberto. Hopkins. Jackson gives it away to McKendry. And now FC Edmonton on the attack. Correa. Rather, Fisk tries to send that in, and the Deltas will get a chance to clear up the touch line. Dagoberto tries the tricky back heel, doesn't quite connect. And FC Edmonton on the attack. Fisk. Good defensive play there by Ferreira. Dagoberto battling.
Really battling.
And he will lose the throw-in, though, to Sean Nicola, who is born in San Diego but has Guam parentage, so he's able to play for the Guam national team. And while with Guam, they had a chance in the 2018 World Cup qualifiers. They beat not only Turkmenistan, but they also beat India 1-0. And if you want to compare those two countries, India has 1.3 billion with a B people, Guam with 160,000 people. It is 10,000 times the size of Guam in population, yet little Guam won 1-0 thanks to a Sean Nicola assist to his brother, Travis, back in 2015.
Wow.
24 caps for Guam, who plays in the Asian Confederation of Football.
You get the NASL announcer tidbit of the week, that's for sure.
Well, we got some more coming. Ferreira. And that chip, shot, pass, whatever that was 3 points for a field goal there.
And you also tagged the guy in the bar right on the backside.
It'll be a goal kick. And Tyson Farrago certainly in no hurry with about less than 7 minutes remaining of the first 45. And head coach Mark Dos Santos probably is wondering what happened to his team after such a strong start. And FC Edmonton has really taken it to the Deltas the last 10-15 minutes, including a goal by Tomi Amiobi, his 6th of the season, in the 31st minute. Can the Deltas get one here late? They certainly have done that throughout this season with late goals in the first half.
Great play by Jordan, had to battle back and win possession back after it was taken away by Amiobi.
Jackson, 2 players on him. Chips it into the box.
Just that final ball on the cross, with the exception perhaps of the delivery to Jordan, has just been slightly lacking today, Jason.
Diakite and Karsten Smith, both 6'2" and taller, have been. It's been kids' play for them, clearing those crosses coming into the box, as they do have a little height advantage on Tommy Heineman and certainly on Dagoberto.
The Deltas have some quality in reserve, though, with Becker, Sandoval, and Diego all available as attacking options for Coach Dos Santos.
Well, Heineman also up there at 6'4", so he can take on Diakite.
Sandoval is as well.
Hopkins, pressured, earns the throw-in. And there's Oliver's kid. Oliver, who member of the San Francisco Deltas front office. Congratulations. Well, that's not a little kid. That's
still a baby.
It's a baby. Congratulations once again.
Thank you
to Steven, new father. He is a new father as of a few weeks ago.
I got some sleep this week.
Oh, you did?
Pretty nice, yeah.
That's good.
You forgot what it was,
you do have a bit of a glow to you today.
Thank you.
Maybe it's the sun, maybe it's the sleep.
I think it's the sun, actually.
Right now, the Deltas need some energy, as Romuald Pacer really only tested on that one shot, and it was a goal by Amiobi. And now FC Edmonton slowing things down as the Delta Force trying to get their team back into it. 3.5 minutes remaining of the first 45. Well, we talked about Patrick Hopkins in the opening as one of the 10 players to have kicked it up a notch in that NASL article on their website as Jackson tries to maneuver his way in. He does, but his pass goes through everybody. The long follow-up, but they're calling in. They're saying the ball actually did go out of bounds at the goal line. So that shot from...
Is that Ferreira? Tissot, he absolutely hammered that one with the left foot first time. I know it was after the whistle, but even still.
Getting some practice in.
Yeah, that would have sliced through the net.
But besides Hopkins, Amiobi as well as Ben Fisk were mentioned in the 10 players to have kicked it up a notch this fall season. As there's Ben Fisk with the opportunity, the aforementioned Ben Fisk. Shot goes wide for a goal kick. As Fisk now 4 assists on the season, as he's tied for 4th in the NASL with his 4 assists. Played just 3 games in the first 2 months of the season and now has 4 points in his last 6 matches with a goal and 3 assists. Amiobi, same thing, 2 goals, 2 assists in his last 6, and now make it 3 goals and 2 assists in his last 7 matches. Fisk for Correa. Watched by Ouimet. Correa gets it into the box, and Hopkins will knock it out for another FC Edmonton corner kick as they are just piling up for FC Edmonton. And you start to play with fire when you give a team that many opportunities on the set pieces.
Correa becoming more and more involved in the match now. Started out on the right side of midfield, now popping up on the left. And has earned his team a corner kick here in the waning moments of the first half.
Fisk will curl this inward, goes back post, and the follow-up shot stopped there by Pacer on the opportunity from Nicola. But now the Deltas have an opportunity. They've got men at least get their head on it. And so Dagoberto playing setup man. 1 assist so far in the season for Dagoberto. Hopkins. Jackson gives it away to McKendry. And now FC Edmonton on the attack. Correa. Rather, Fisk tries to send that in, and the Deltas will get a chance to clear up the touch line. Dagoberto tries the tricky back heel, doesn't quite connect. And FC Edmonton on the attack. Fisk. Good defensive play there by Ferreira. Dagoberto battling.
Really battling.
And he will lose the throw-in, though, to Sean Nicola, who is born in San Diego but has Guam parentage, so he's able to play for the Guam national team. And while with Guam, they had a chance in the 2018 World Cup qualifiers. They beat not only Turkmenistan, but they also beat India 1-0. And if you want to compare those two countries, India has 1.3 billion with a B people, Guam with 160,000 people. It is 10,000 times the size of Guam in population, yet little Guam won 1-0 thanks to a Sean Nicola assist to his brother, Travis, back in 2015.
Wow.
24 caps for Guam, who plays in the Asian Confederation of Football.
You get the NASL announce the tidbit of the week, that's for sure.
Well, we got some more coming. Ferreira. And that chip, shot, pass, whatever that was 3 points for a field goal there.
And you also tagged the guy in the bar right on the backside.
It'll be a goal kick. And Tyson Farrago certainly in no hurry with about less than 7 minutes remaining of the first 45. And head coach Mark Dos Santos probably is wondering what happened to his team after such a strong start and FC Edmonton has really taken it to the Deltas the last 10-15 minutes, including a goal by Tomi Amiobi, his 6th of the season in the 31st minute. Can the Deltas get one here late? They certainly have done that throughout this season with late goals in the first half.
Great play by Jordan, had to battle back and win possession back after it was taken away by Amiobi.
Jackson, 2 players on him. Chips it into the box.
Just that final ball on the cross, with the exception perhaps of the delivery to Jordan, has just been slightly lacking today, Jason.
Diakite and Karsten Smith, both 6'2" and taller, it's been kids' play for them, clearing those crosses coming into the box, as they do have a little height advantage on Tommy Heineman and certainly on Dagoberto.
The Deltas have some quality in reserve, though, with Becca, Sandoval, and Diego all available as attacking options for Coach Dos Santos.
Well, Heineman also up there at 6'4", so he can take on Diakite.
Sandoval is as well.
Hopkins, pressured, earns the throw-in. And there's Oliver's kid. Oliver, who member of the San Francisco Deltas front office. Congratulations. Well, that's not a little kid. That's
still a baby.
It's a baby. Congratulations once again.
Thank you
to Steven, new father. He is a new father as of a few weeks ago.
I got some sleep this week.
Oh, you did?
Pretty nice, yeah.
That's good.
You forgot what it was,
you do have a bit of a glow to you today.
Thank you.
Maybe it's the sun, maybe it's the sleep.
I think it's the sun, actually.
Right now, the Deltas need some energy, as Romuald Pacer really only tested on that one shot, and it was a goal by Amiobi. And now FC Edmonton slowing things down as the Delta Force trying to get their team back into it. 3.5 minutes remaining of the first 45. Well, we talked about Patrick Hopkins in the opening as one of the 10 players to have kicked it up a notch in that NASL article on their website, as Jackson tries to maneuver his way in. He does, but his pass goes through everybody, the long follow-up, but they're calling in. They're saying the ball actually did go out of bounds at the goal line. So that shot from...
Is that Ferreira? Tissot, he absolutely hammered that one with the left foot first time. I know it was after the whistle, but even still.
Getting some practice in.
Yeah, that would have sliced through the net.
But besides Hopkins, Amiobi as well as Ben Fisk were mentioned in the 10 players to have kicked it up a notch this fall season. As there's Ben Fisk with the opportunity, the aforementioned Ben Fisk. Shot goes wide for a goal kick. As Fisk now 4 assists on the season, as he's tied for 4th in the NASL with his 4 assists. Played just 3 games in the first 2 months of the season and now has 4 points in his last 6 matches with a goal and 3 assists. Amiobi, same thing, 2 goals, 2 assists in his last 6, and now make it 3 goals and 2 assists in his last 7 matches. Fisk for Correa. Watched by Ouimet. Correa gets it into the box, and Hopkins will knock it out for another FC Edmonton corner kick, as they are just piling up for FC Edmonton. And you start to play with fire when you give a team that many opportunities on the set pieces.
Correa becoming more and more involved in the match now. Started out on the right side of midfield, now popping up on the left. and has earned his team a corner kick here in the waning moments of the first half.
Fisk will curl this inward, goes back post, and the follow-up shot stopped there by Pacer on the opportunity from Niklaw. But now the Deltas have an opportunity. They've got men going. Stevens looking for some help.
Just didn't have the control there he wanted of the ball. Had to slow everything down.
Ferreira will be able to keep it in, sends it into the box. Far post, 2 players there for the Deltas. That shot blocked on the attempt by Jordan. And now FC Edmonton goes the other way, as the Deltas may have had an odd man rush there, but Stevens just couldn't quite control it.
That's where FC Edmonton got him last time, where they poured players forward in search of the goal. FC Edmonton content this time to slow things up. Jackson should get that first and does.
See how much added time there is. I would assume not much. 2 minutes of added time coming up, as Romuald Pacer will come out to play this. Can we see some late half Tommy Heineman magic?
2 minutes of stoppage time on the field.
They'll try the right side. Dagoberto will chip it into the box. Gibson pops it up, and it will just be cleared at the goal line, as Tyler Gibson almost was able to lob it over Farrago. And a whistle blown with Gibson down, and I think it was Carson Smith that cleared it at the goal line.
Wow, Farrago almost had it first time. It spills free, and you're right, Carson Smith got to it, but Gibson was sandwiched, I think, between a couple players as he headed it. Surprised perhaps as anybody that he made contact and came ever so close at the end of the half to giving the Deltas a goal.
Athletic trainer coming out, and I think Tommy Heineman is concerned about Tyler Gibson and whether he hit his head or not, because Tommy Heineman was calling for the trainer. And Tyler Gibson will be, well, he's going to walk off the field, and
we'll see if we can take a look at that at the half. It certainly was an awkward fall for Gibson. It appears to be okay. He's rejected the trainer's assistance. You have to wonder now, the Deltas going into the dressing room at halftime. What do they need to do to score a goal in this match? The build-up play has been outstanding at times, but they just cannot find the target.
Edmonton on the attack, one last attempt. Amiobi sends it across, and Correa will, or rather Niklaw will not be able to keep it. Is there one last rush in this half for the Deltas? Referee checking his watch. Deltas will have to hurry if they want to do anything. Maxime Tissot on the near side holding up his arms, calling for it, but it goes the other way. Jackson with the follow-up, and that's going to do it for the half. Certainly a disappointing one for the Deltas, who has some early momentum, but they find themselves trailing the visiting FC Edmonton 1-0.
Tomi Amiobi took his opportunity and took it with aplomb, as they've given the visitors and the Eddie supporter group, as you can see, they are over the moon right now. Their team lead at the half by 1-0.
Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have some.
And it's still 1-0 in Miami, as Jaime Chavez has given the Orange and Blue the lead over Puerto Rico FC. That game with just over 12 minutes remaining in the match. So as it currently stands, with the Cosmos winning at the moment, they would jump up to third, as Miami would take the lead with 12 points in the full standings. Puerto Rico would stay on 9. The Deltas would stay on 6, and Edmonton would move up to joint third place alongside the Cosmos. So plenty to play for both teams here in the second half. And will Coach Mark Dos Santos, Jason, perhaps pull a rally rabbit out of the hat to use our friends from Edmonton's mascot?
Yeah, I don't know if any Edmonton fans listening are going to appreciate that.
No, probably not.
As the FC Edmonton Supporters Club, which are called the FC Edmonton Supporters Group, bring back the fact that there was a rally rabbit or an Eddie Bunny or an Eddie Jackalope based on a rabbit that wandered onto the field during a June 2011 match against the Montreal Impact, which are now in the MLS. And maybe we'll get some pigeon, or there are some coyotes that come around here in Kezar in Golden Gate Park. Maybe there'll be a crazy coyote, a rally coyote for the Deltas tonight.
No changes for Coach Dos Santos as they get the second half underway here at Kezar.
Deltas hoping to find a little bit more luck in this second half and make Tyson Farrago work for that win. Possession was a little bit on the side of the Deltas in the first half, 56-44.
One change real quick while we have a moment here, Jason. They have made a change. Jordan is out and Diego is on. 3 shots on target for the Deltas, 2 for FC Edmonton. 7 corners, though, the Deltas dominated in possession. So Diego is going to play center forward now for Jordan, who I felt might come off after receiving that yellow card in the first half.
So Pablo
Great
Diego
ball.
Up ahead. Diego into the box. Heineman just over the bar. And there, Pablo Diego immediately showing why he comes onto the pitch for Marcos Dos Santos.
This is a sensational ball forward to Diego. Hits it sweetly. Heineman hits it on the volley, and the streak of rotten luck continues for the Deltas as Heineman puts that over the bar from 6 yards out.
Well, the number of excitable moments in front of the FC Edmonton continuing to pile up. And now it's getting to the point where the Deltas are due. And you got to think something is going to finally get past Tyson Farrago.
But you also have to think about the 3 prior matches played to this one, where the Eddies were on the end of some pretty rotten luck themselves in terms of goals scored. So
something's got to give tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you for sure.
As Edmonton finally breaking through with their first time in 4 matches against the Deltas, as they lost thrice, 1-0 to the Deltas, and that must have felt really good for head coach Colin Miller to finally break through on San Francisco on the counterattack by Amiobi. And now Diego, who's just go, 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 and he draws the foul in a fairly dangerous spot, and a yellow card is coming to Ben McKendry.
McKendry goes in the book. So Smith and McKendry in the book now for FC Edmonton.
Yellow card issued to FC Edmonton.
Pete Diego
Ben McHenry, card issued
right in front of the referee.
Gibson, Ferreira, Tissot all lined up over the ball, and it looks like it will be Heinar Ferreira taking this. You thought maybe Dagoberto. This is straight down the middle. Ferreira might be going for goal. Chips it up and over. It just went over the crossbar, and that was a very deceptive set piece by Heinar Ferreira.
We saw him get a little target practice in at the end of the first half with a left-footed shot that, although had been whistled dead as the ball went over the byline, was still a powerful effort that was as straight as a string. And that wasn't far off, dipping underneath the crossbar.
So FC Edmonton clinging to their 1-0 lead. Delta still with plenty of time to get the Delta's fans excited. Pablo Diego with some more nifty footwork as he's been a nice addition as a sub. Ball into the box. Goes up for Galvao. Jackson with the follow-up, and it just slices high and wide of the near post.
Had to take a chance there to Jackson, the way the ball was falling towards him. Set himself, cues it up on the right foot, just slices it off the instep, wide out of play.
That would have been a nominee for goal of the season if that had made it past Farrago and into the goal.
A lot of pressure, though, from the Deltas in the opening 5 minutes of the second half.
Pecer now with the sun to his back, and Tyson Farrago might have some issues with the sun, which will be, well, is setting now, 6:19 p.m. local time. As FC Edmonton works their way up the pitch. Look at referee Alex Chilowitz, who's had some tough calls to make. And that is a handball on Michael Stevens, luckily just outside the 18-yard box. And now with the sun starting to set, that those yellow lines, which are the lines for the soccer pitch as opposed to the American football lines, which are in white, getting a little bit harder to see, at least from our vantage point.
Especially on the far side where the field is enveloped in shadows. Particularly difficult. Stevens is still not happy. Feels like it came off his chest more than the arm.
Correa, no, Fisk, and that goes up and out for a goal kick for San Francisco. As we take a look at the sun that's setting behind the Kezar Stadium arch that's remaining from the original, I don't know if it's the actual original one, but that's what the facade looked like. That arch used to be part of the stadium that went all the way around when the San Francisco 49ers played here decades ago. Throw in for San Francisco, and good opportunity to talk about this week in Kezar Stadium history. August 22nd to August 24th, 1969, 48 years ago, there was an amazing concert here that never actually happened. The Wild West Festival, which was going to take place a week after Woodstock, which of course is now one of the most famous concerts in world history, as Pablo Diego does some dipsy-doing with his footwork. We'll get to more of that in a moment as Diego sends it to Tissot, tries to get it into the box, leaves it off for Gibson. Gibson, long-range shot, it just missed the far post, go out for a goal kick.
Something we haven't heard around Kezar in a while is that ooh and ah, and every time Pablo Diego touches the ball, and he's been inspired for him tonight with another tremendous run forward. And again, the Deltas just can't seem to put the final pieces of the puzzle together.
But just to go back to the festival for naught, as FC Edmonton on the attack, Jackson clears. McKendry, though, with the follow-up. Sends it into the box. Stevens, or Ouimet rather, able to clear. Some pressure being put on now. Galvao. But it's Jackson for Diego. Gets by one. Diego cuts to the middle. Diego, pass across. Heinemann, shot off the post and out. Stevens, follow up. Can he get it home? Header up and over, and the Deltas cannot buy themselves a goal.
Can you believe this right now if you're a Delta supporter? Heinemann gives all glory, and it's just not to be. Diego again, brilliant run, lays it off. You would have put your house on that going in the back of the net, and the woodwork comes to the rescue of Farrago.
And you think maybe Gibson could have let Heinemann get that one. Ball up for Amiobi. Leaves it off for Correa into the box, and that header will go out for a goal kick. But in 1969, there was supposed to be the Wild West Festival at Kezar, which would include many San Francisco Bay Area performing artists and guests, as Diego earns himself the free kick. Janis Joplin, Grateful Dead, Jefferson Airplay, Santana, Steve Miller Band, all were supposed to play here, and they were going to play almost for free, just for expenses. And once they found out that they were planning on charging people to come and watch them, basically everybody started bowing out, and this grand festival that would have happened here in 1969 was all for naught, and it's now just a footnote in Kezar Stadium history. Free kick for the Deltas. Dagoberto, and that's not going to go. Too high for the Brazilian.
Hands on hips time for the Brazilian, and this hasn't been that creative spark as he was against North Carolina. Should be a little too cute at times in the match, and he is frustrated with how it's gone so far.
And you got to think perhaps the most frustrated person on the pitch is Tommy Heineman, who, what does he have to do to score a goal? He has the ball now, but it's out for a throw-in. San Francisco Deltas presented by Espetus, the first authentic Brazilian steakhouse in the Bay Area. Pablo Diego has certainly been a difference maker since coming on for head coach Mark Dos Santos for Greg Jordan at the half. And can Diego continue to create from the right side? Bad pass there by Ferreira. And the Deltas, though, will regroup.
The one advantage perhaps the Deltas have in the second half is they have a full complement of substitutes. Edmonton dressing just 16 players. One of them is Nathan Ingham, so they only have 4 outfield players available to sub on, whereas the Deltas have a total of 6, with Sandoval, Luban, Burke, Becker, and Tyser all available for Dos Santos, who's made 1 substitution so far.
Be interesting to see if Kyle Becker gets in, as he has really not been playing as much this fall season as he did to start the year, as a foul is called against Gibson, and he is pleading with the referee about that call.
Before that Miami game where he was sent off on the bench, he had made the NASL team of the week in weeks 11, 12, and 14. It gives you an example of the kind of form that he was in. So interesting to see what will become of him in this current formation that Coach Mark Dos Santos is playing.
And speaking of Kyle Becker, it looks like he is going to be coming on soon. He's got his kit on, and he is ready to come in for head coach Mark Dos Santos. So
Stevens is going to come out.
And there's the substitution now. Kyle Becker out of Oakville, Ontario, and his 3 goals on the season will try to help generate as Michael Stevens comes off. So all sorts of firepower up now for head coach Mark Dos Santos. Dagoberto with the free kick. Header by Heineman and right into the grasp of Farrago.
Good connection there by Heineman. Headed right at the goalkeeper. And you're right, this is Mark Dos Santos now playing. He's playing a hand in bridge. He's played 2 of his trump cards already.
Diego maintains control, finds Dagoberto with some space on the right side, into the box, Headed away by Smith. And McKendry will turn from Diego. And head coach Mark Dos Santos not waiting until the latter minutes of the second half. He's bringing in the offense pretty early in the early stages of the second half as Heinar Ferreira with some nice footwork to get away from the attack. Into the box, too far for Dagoberto. Can he chase it down? No, he cannot. It will be a throw-in for FC Edmonton. And Mark Dos Santos is barking out some orders. As frustrated and as disappointed he's got to be right now. It's still only a one-goal game. Jackson going wide. He gets pulled down.
Penalty.
And he's going to get the penalty. Jackson.
Well, he pointed to the spots, I thought.
But now the Deltas players were arguing with the referee. And now the referee talking to the assistant. And lots of confusion on the pitch.
Let's see.
No, I think the assistant referee is calling it a dive.
It's a very... I kind of have to agree with the assistant referee there. The contact is minimal.
But
the penalty is going to be awarded anyway.
I saw Diakite giving a thumbs up to the assistant referee, but it looks like the Deltas are going to be awarded the penalty, and Dagoberto is going to take it, searching for his first goal as a member of San Francisco. Dagoberto will line up with his right foot. Shot, goal! Deltas have tied it up. It's 1-1 at Kezar.
The Brazilian gets on the board. A little song, a little dance, and a right-footed shot past Tyson Farrago. The Deltas have tied it up at a goal apiece.
Was it deserved? Well, that's not our call. But the Deltas will certainly take it after a questionable penalty call last week. And, well, what goes around comes around. Everything evens out, whatever you want to call it. But we are all tied up in one, and this is a completely different ballgame as Tommy Heineman cannot quite get to that before Farrago. And all of a sudden, this is a completely different soccer match as we watch the Dagoberto just waiting for Farrago to dive the other way. And now a corner for the Deltas, who have all the momentum with less than 30 minutes left in this match.
They do have all the momentum indeed. And Dagoberto just wrong-foots the goalkeeper here. Didn't have to power it home like we saw Lance Lang do last week. Casual as you like into the corner of the goal. You're right. Now the momentum is very much with the Deltas.
Dagoberto's corner headed away. Follow up by Tissot. Still fighting in the box. Hopkins also there. And now SC Edmonton able to get it, and they've got the numbers going the other way.
This is where they've got to be really careful now to the Deltas on the counter-attack, and Correa makes a little bit of a mess of that.
Players get back for the Deltas. Good play by Ferreira, but it will be a corner kick for FC Edmonton. And you had Kyle Becker as one of your two defenders back on that rush.
I was just going to say, Kyle Beck is a center back there on that counterattack by FC Edmonton, and if Correa had done a little bit better controlling the ball here on the near side, they could have put the Deltas under some real pressure. But because of that Ferreira slide challenge now, they've got a corner kick.
Fans certainly happy now, but it's Ben Fisk taking the corner for Edmonton into the box, headed down, right at the goal line, and they score! FC Edmonton responds immediately, and it's 2-1 for the visitors.
One of the few times, perhaps, the Deltas not composed on a set piece, and with so many big bodies inside the 6-yard box, it's Zebi who puts it home for FC Edmonton. And this has silenced the Kezar crowd.
Alan Zebby able to pick the ball up in that absolutely mad scramble in front of Peser, who probably should have grabbed that on the initial header.
It was indeed Zebby who got the touch. Peser was already on the ground, but in that mad scramble inside the 6-yard box, hard to tell really how that ball eventually squirmed out of his grasp and ended up in the back of the net. But this has really quieted down the crowd here at Kezar.
Well, all the momentum the Deltas had lost in one corner kick. And it was a shame because Heinar Ferreira came across to make that nice defensive effort on Correa, who ultimately had bobbled the ball on the attack. And the resulting corner kick is a goal as Alan Zebby picks up his first goal of the season. And once again, the Deltas in urgency mode, as they were prior to the Dagoberto penalty goal. Dagoberto is taken down.
Uh-oh. Smith is getting called over, and he's going to be sent off. Second yellow card, and Carson Smith is sent off. And after he was warned in the first half of that challenge on Heinemann, he really could have no complaints this time.
So they've lost one of their center backs. And Carson Smith will head to the locker room early.
I don't think he was even shown a second yellow. I think he was shown a straight red for that challenge. Let's take a look. Great through ball from Ouimet. Dagoberto with a challenge, and certainly Smith grabs his shirt. I don't know if they were thinking an elbow was thrown. That's not the case, but
I think the second yellow came out. I think it did, but either way,
he's on very thin ice at that point anyway.
It's now 11 versus 10. 10 men for Edmonton as Dagoberto takes that ball, and it goes right directly on goal, and Farrago really didn't have to move at all to make that save, but the Deltas now have a glorious opportunity with an extra man for the last 23 minutes of the 90, and the FC Edmonton losing a center back. They'll have to bring in, they'll likely have to make us.
They bring in the Englishman Netin Sansara on, and you'd think for Keegan or Amiobi.
Deltas should have much of the possession for the remainder of this match. The question is, can they get another one by Farrago? And can they get it through the run of play? Because they probably will not earn another penalty in this match. The shade now peaking even more as the ball chipped in. Heinemann across to Jackson, and he stumbled as he tried the half volley, but the Deltas are getting their opportunities. The question is, can they put one by Farrago?
Keegan is going to come off for Sansara.
So a feverish second half.
This has been the most feverish second half we've had here at Kezar. Maybe it's just the weather, Jason.
And there it is, Jake Keegan coming off for Netin Sansara, the Englishman.
Coach Miller shouting out instructions to Diakite and Galvao as they wait the substitution here of Sansara for Keegan. So a defender on for an attacker here for the Addies with 22 minutes to go in the match.
Just 2 minutes separated those goals by Dagoberto and then Zebby. And the Deltas, for the second time now, find themselves down by a goal. And they've got all sorts of offensive firepower out there with Heineman, Dagoberto, Diego, Kyle Becker.
Diego wanted the ball a lot sooner there. He's in behind his man, and that's a poor flick by Jackson.
Amiobi finds Nicola. Nicola running out of room, and the Deltas will regain possession. Dagoberto with some space on the right side. He's got Diego with him. Heineman going to the net. Sends it across, far post, diving Tissot. And he couldn't quite get enough of it as he deflected that cross wide of the far post.
Superb vision, though, by Dagoberto to see Tissot streaming down the left side. He'd beaten his man ever so close, just couldn't contort his body the right way to head that home the way he would have liked.
Nicola was there for FC Edmonton, but not enough contact to call another penalty. And certainly head coach Mark Dos Santos worried now with just under 20 minutes remaining